And welcome back to another experiment 12 in my electronic experimenters kit series. Today we're going to talk about bootstrapping. Just before I start the video, a quick shout out for this channel's sponsor, PCBWay, your one-stop shop for all your PCB requirements, be it prototypes, assembly, flexi rigids, CNC machining, 3D printing. The instant quote is easy to use. Just put in the dimensions of your board, number of pieces, how many layers, thickness, etc. Upload your Gerbers, hit the quote now button, and you're good to go. And delivery is very fast. PCBWay supplied the boards for the electronics kit. So, back to the video. Right, here we are. Bootstrapping. What does it mean? What does it do? How can we use it? Now, this is the circuit that you've all seen in experiment 11. And now when you talk about bootstrapping, there are initially two ideas or two ways of using it. One is to increase the gain and the other one is to increase the input impedance. Today I want to talk about increasing the gain, so I'm going to ignore a bit about increasing the input impedance, and that will be in the following experiment 12 part 2. So what we're going to do is, to increase the gain, we want to increase this resistor. As you know, the gain is this value divided by this value. So 2K2 divided by 100 gives a gain of 22. So what we want to do is we want to add another resistor just there. So we'll get rid of that one. Right, here we go. We've got rid of the 2K2 and we've replaced it with two 1K1s. Everything else, if these are the right values, should stay the same, because we've replaced 2K2 with two 1K1s in parallel, adding up to 2K2. So nothing should have changed. Now, what do we want to do? How can we increase the value of this resistor? Now, what we can do is we can add a capacitor, and we bring the capacitor in. Now, what's this doing? We have got some output being fed back via that capacitor to this point here. Now, to answer this, we have to think about what's happening around this circuit now. So what we have here, let's just say, for an example, we have 1 volt on here. So we've got 1 volt of AC going up and down here. What's happening on the emitter of Q2? We have approximately 1 volt of signal going up and down here. Slightly less than 1 volt, because this common or emitter follower has got a gain of less than unity. So less than 1, but it's very close to 1. And this is being fed back via this capacitor, which at the audio frequencies has got very low impedance, to this point here. So here we have 1 volt or thereabouts of AC signal, and on this side we have 1 volt of an AC signal. So looking at this resistor, DC wise, it's 1.1k, because the current's coming down here and it's quite happy. But AC wise, the AC on this point now is virtually identical to the AC on this point. And if the AC voltage is here is exactly the same as here, then there is no or very little AC current flowing through this resistor. And if this resistor has very, very little AC current, it must mean that it's a very high value of resistor. So as DC is concerned, you're looking at a 1K1, but for the AC, you're looking at something considerably larger. We now have this really high collector resistor in series with this 1K1, so the 1K1 virtually disappears for AC because it's swamped by the value of this one. This one could be very high if you get the component values right. It won't be so high in this, I think, because we're starting with such a low value. But we'll see what it will calculate it out when we test the circuit. So what's going to happen is we're going to have this very high collector resistor divided by the 100, and so the gain should shoot up to a lot more than the original gain of 22 without this capacitor. So with that said, let's jump back to the board, have a look and see how it performs. Right, here we are back on the bench with the experimenter's kit in front of me. You can see the only difference between experiment 11 is the 2K2 resistor here has been broken out into two 1K1s or 1100 ohms to make up a total of 2K2. So everything should be the same. And if we go to DC, and I bring in the circuit. You see, these are the values that we calculated we should get, but we know in the last experiment we didn't actually get them. So what we're going to do now is we'll just check what we get at the moment. So we expected 1 volt here, but I think last time we got a bit less. And here we're getting about 848 millivolts. And instead of the 1.6, we're getting about 1.5. And instead of the 4.6 up here, we're getting 5.13. And again, the 0.6 volt drop across the emitter base. And so on the emitter here, we're going to get, if we actually get the connection, we're going to get about 4.6, which is about 0.6 less than the 5 that we expected. So the electrically, or DC wise, the static conditions are about the same. Now if we go to AC and we look at the input, actually we'll go in and it calms down. We got about 5 millivolts AC on the input, and we go to the output, we have about 109 millivolts. And so if we do 109 divided by 5, we got a gain of about 21.8, very close to the 22 that this would calculate at. 2K2 divided by 100 gives us 22. So that's about what we'd expect. Now, as you can see from the circuit, there's a capacitor. The bootstrapping capacitor is from this point here down to the emitter, the output emitter here, and that is going to feed the signal here back to there, as I explained earlier. And this signal is the same as that signal, but out and in phase, but just a little bit lower because this transistor hasn't got full unity gain. It's just less than gain of 1, but not by much. And that will affect our impedance here because there will be a slight difference in voltage. But the idea is to put the same voltage here on here in phase for AC, and so this resistor effectively disappears. And the resistance of this is basically what's left of the AC current that's flowing down here. So it's basically the difference between this voltage and the voltage fed back. So we'll bring the capacitor in, and then when I plug this in, what you will notice is the scope. I haven't brought the scope in yet, have I? Bring the scope in. There's the scope showing the input yellow and the output blue, and you'll notice that as soon as I plug this capacitor in and start the bootstrap feedback, the output is going to jump considerably. There it goes. So I have to up the scope input. So now you can see we've got 2 volts per division just up there. You'll see it says 2 volts per division now, and we've got 1.77 volts coming out. We will still have it will settle down probably back to 05. It takes a little while. So we've still got 5 millivolts going in. We got 177 volts coming out. So 1.77 divided by 0.005 gives us a gain of 354. So just by adding that capacitor, the gain in this circuit has jumped 20-fold nearly, divided by 22, 16 times. It's gone up by 16 times. So that's just by adding that capacitor and feeding the output back to that junction, that connect junction of those 2 resistors. Again, so that we have a voltage across that point which is the same as the voltage across that point in phase, because there's no phase inversion in this transistor, And so as we know, same voltage on both terminals means that there is no real current flowing through it. If there's no current flowing through it, it must be a very high impedance. Because this has a gain of less than unity, there will be a slight imbalance of these two voltages, and that slight imbalance will give you a impedance of this resistor. So it's that slight imbalance that will feed an AC current through the resistor, and that will give us a slightly lower impedance. If the two voltages were perfect, then the impedance would be mega ohms. So we put it in here. We want to know roughly what that 1K1 resistor that is there has gone up to. So effectively we had 354, and then we times that by the 100 ohms in the emitter resistor, and that gives us 35.4K. So just by adding that capacitor, we've now made that resistor appear to this transistor as nearly a 36k ohm resistor, which is why when you divide it by the 100 ohms in the emitter, the gain of the circuit becomes 354. And you say, if I pull it back out again, the gain will drop right back down to what it was, 21. So I hope you enjoyed this brief explanation of bootstrapping to increase gain. If you did and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll catch you on the next one.